Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was Monday, the 28th of August, 2023. Pretty darn good day of gameplay, if I do say so myself. A comeback for Street Fighter 6, which I'm actually very pleased about, which we'll talk about in a moment here. So, let's go. First of all, we started off today with the Level 1 podcast, and I had two interesting topics really to talk about on the podcast this morning. The first primarily being Starfield. With Starfield coming out on Friday and everyone talking about this game, there's been some crazy stuff going on with a person who had stolen copies, not only to leak information about the game on the internet, but then to try to illegally resell the games. So I talked about that story. In addition, there is some information that is leaked about Starfield that I wanted to talk about. It's not a major story spoiler. It's not a major gameplay component spoiler, anything like that. But there was something that was critical to the game that I felt that I wanted to discuss. Now, I did label it as a spoiler in the show. I actually waved my hands. It said spoiler. And hopefully, when we get some timestamps on there, because typically we get some AI timestamps on all my podcasts, it'll be able to flag that segment. But it was very interesting. I'm not going to tell you what it is, because it is technically a spoiler. And for those who don't want any information about the game at all, I'm not going to spoil that for you. But it was an interesting discussion, to say the least. Then, we actually talked about statistics. And what I mean by that is, we started talking about statistics and how they're used for various purposes to skew public opinion, to make something look better or worse than it really is. And in particular, we talked about how this has happened many times recently with video games, talking about early pre-order sales rather than the sales over time, talking about overall sales, but they included Game Pass downloads or game bundled sales with consoles as sales of the game. It's very interesting how in the games industry, they tend to use statistics to try to say that a game is a win or a loss or a success or a failure, when a lot of the times they're not objectively comparing the same things that other games are judged against. So it was a very interesting podcast. I really enjoyed it. And I had a really great time talking with everyone about these topics. So give it a look if you haven't yet. First stream today of gameplay was GTA 5, the anniversary run, as we head into the Endgame. Major progress today. Although we did maybe one or two side missions. For example, there was a Marianne mission where Trevor falls in love with her and tries to chase her all around the map. For those who don't know, Marianne is the woman who's like the crazy athlete. We mostly did story today. And it was a ton of development of the story. Like ridiculous amounts of development of the story today. Continuing on with the whole FIB plot line. Michael getting back with his family, and many other things to that effect. So, great progress. I want to say, like, by the end of the stream, we had done maybe around 8 or 9 story missions. So, we are on pace to either finish this game when we play it again on Wednesday, or likely one more stream. And the reason I say that is because I have the feeling there's a little bit of endgame odd content that I might want to do. I think Trevor has a side mission that unlocks for him to go out into the desert and do the UFO missions and stuff. And I liked those when I did them in the original playthrough 10 years ago, so I probably would like to do those again. And I think there are a couple odds and ends missions to kind of tie up plot lines for each character before you have the big finale. So we'll see, but we are very, very close to the end of the stream. Now, I'll be honest. It was a slow stream for support until last minute. There was kind of Hail Mary, and we did hit the Tier 1 tip skull, which I was happy about. Overall, though, it was pretty slow for support until the very tail end. So it is what it is. Listen, I know. That game, we've now been playing for over a month. It was popular at first. Now, I get around 400 viewers, if that, for a stream. We were getting like 600 when the game started. Any game like that that's lengthy, you're going to lose interest over time. Any game where we have all new games right around the corner on the horizon, people aren't going to be excited for the older ones we're playing. I get that. So it is what it is. We're near the end. All right? Now, tonight was Street Fighter 6 ranked gameplay with Blanca at the diamond level. Last time around when I played with Blanca, it was incredibly frustrating. And what I mean by that is I was having tons of issues dropping combos and having control issues where basically if I missed one move, the enemy would capitalize and instantly win the match because Ken or Jury or DJ or any of the top tiers have the capability of doing that. They can literally get, oh, you missed, you dropped one move in the middle of your combo. Now I get a ginormous 80% damage punish combo. It's ridiculous in Street Fighter 6 how at the top tiers, that's how it is. So last time around, even though I did win more than I lost, I got so frustrated. I raged. I had a ton of frustration. Well, for this night, I watched some more top-tier Blancas playing the game. And I was watching some techniques that they were using, and I learned a couple quick new things that I implemented in tonight's gameplay. Notably, when I knock an enemy down, now I will hop up and try to hit like a melee attack into a light attack into electricity. Even though it's not a lot of damage, it stops them from getting up and trying to counter hit, and it pushes them to the corner, whereas where I want them. I was doing tons of mix-ups, high-low mix-ups, overheads, throws, just all kinds of stuff, and a lot of people were getting completely fooled, and I was getting tons of perfects and stuff. But in addition, now I'm also extending some of my juggle combos where I do the lift, and then instead of ending the combo, I do another dash into a light kick into a second lift to push them even further towards the corner. So I was implementing some interesting things tonight that I had seen, and I was winning a lot. In fact, I would say this was one of the most winning streams I've had in about a month. Because you know I've had a rough time ever since I went to PS5, and I've been trying to reclimb back to Master, both with Blanca and now to get also Honda to Master. It's been a rough climb. But then I had a giant win streak of, I want to say it was like 14 wins, maybe more, I don't know. I had multiple win streaks. It wasn't just the one. You know, who did I lose to? I lost to Ken. I lost to a DJ. You know, I'm losing to the top tiers. What can you do? And then there was one, I hate to say it, there was one Zangief that was good, but his connection wasn't very good. And because of that, he was getting away with a lot of stupid stuff, a lot of cheap throws that I definitely should have been able to get out of. But what are you going to do? Overall, I won a ton tonight. So I went all the way from base level 3-star Diamond Blanca almost up to 5-star Diamond. We were more than halfway from 4 to 5-star Diamond by the time the stream ended. I haven't had that kind of gains in weeks. So I was very pleased with how this went. I was like, wow, I guess I'm back. As long as I maintain my cool, when things go wrong, I should be able to keep going. I did, and I did really well tonight. In fact, I would have liked to go a little bit later, but I have some stuff I need to do after tonight's stream, so I didn't have time to really stay extra tonight. But we're on pace. If I keep doing, that well, I'd say we are on pace to get Blanca back to Master now, okay? So that went really well. What didn't go well again was the support on the stream. We had like 2 super chats, 0 members, and like 20 bucks in tips. So basically, I've noticed distinctly the last 2 days a big dip in support. Now, I don't know if that's because there was a rallying of support on Saturday for my anniversary. I don't know if that's because people are waiting for the big releases like Starfield this Friday. I don't know. But it's now been 2 days in a row, and I have to bring it up because it starts to be alarming when you see a pattern. It's one thing to have one slow day. It's just not a big deal. But when you're having multiple slow days in a row, yes, it does become concerning to me. Maybe things will change tomorrow because, as I'm about to tell you, tomorrow is going to be the return of Armored Core 6. I've only played it once on release day on Friday for 3 hours. I had a lot of fun with this game. The first boss was challenging, but after I beat that first boss, I got into the mechanics of customizing my mech, making it look cool with colorations, changing the components pretty much every major level, buying new guns, and now I actually upgraded my legs that I now have the 4-legged hovering system. So now I can just hover around and fire at everything in the air like a hovercraft pretty much. And I'm going to really try that tomorrow and see how it works. So I'm actually very excited for Armored Core 6. I hope that you will show up and hopefully support the stream. Here's what I have noticed, because I talked about it on the podcast this morning. Everyone seemed to be so excited for me to play Armored Core 6 because they kept saying things like, oh, this is a FromSoft game, so we're going to get to see Phil get his ass handed to him. And what ended up happening was I had a little bit of difficulty with the first boss. It took me maybe 10 minutes to beat it. And once I beat it, everything else was smooth sailing and fun. And people were like, oh, well, it's not what we thought then. The game sucks. I don't want to watch it anymore. I'm like, what? So because I'm good at the game and it's not insanely, cripplingly difficult, all of a sudden it's bad? What is that attitude? I think the game is quite good. I like the graphics. So far, I'm enjoying the gameplay. The one thing it's lacking is story. I wish it had a good story, but it's just, you're going on a mission, here's some comms chatter about it, and then you go on the mission, then more comms chatter, you're going to go on the next mission. There's not much to the story at all. It's very basic and not much going on, at least in the first 3 hours. I hope that maybe it gets more interesting, but then again, with FromSoft games, usually the stories are dependent on, like, things in the environment, item descriptions and stuff. So I'm not surprised to see that there's not a ton of story so far in Armored Core 6. Please show up tomorrow if you're interested, and please support the stream if you can. It's a new game. I'm only playing it because you guys had asked for it. I want to check it out further, and hopefully I continue to like it. I did hear there is a very challenging and difficult boss coming up that apparently everyone had a hard time with, and some people have outright just said, screw this game, I'm not playing it anymore. So maybe it'll be what you were looking for tomorrow. Maybe I'll get to that boss. I don't know, because I don't know much about it. I didn't spoil myself. I just know supposedly it's coming. So we'll see. I hope you'll join me tomorrow. Then tomorrow night, it is late night chill fun in Chrono Trigger. Fun Throwback JRPG. It's meaningful to me because it's one of my favorite games of all time. Again, we had a really slow stream of it the other night. It would be great if we get some people coming by and supporting it. It is one of the games near and dear to my heart. That's why I wanted to play it only a second time, and this time with live stream interaction and really great quality this time because it's widescreen and everything, compared to the 10-year-old playthrough where there wasn't even face cam. I'm loving it, and we're actually getting to the best parts of the game right now. Optional open world content. Something really cool is about to happen in the plot. That's a huge twist you don't see coming. So I hope you will join me tomorrow night, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time for that. My final consecutive day of the week this week is going to be GTA 5 and more Street Fighter 6 this coming Wednesday. Thursday I'm off, but Friday is the big premiere of Starfield, which I know you're all looking forward to. Me too. Can't wait to see what this game is all about. Okay? All right, everyone. Thank you so very much. Please have a good night. Hopefully tomorrow we can pick things up and turn things around a bit. Hopefully you'll show up for Armored Core. I've liked the game so far, and I hope that you'll give it a shot. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. Be safe. See you in the morning, and enjoy that Street Fighter gameplay because I did really well. Peace out.